What's up, Game Boys and Girls? Big T here, back with another video, and I desperately, and I mean desperately, need this to defeat this. Let's get into it. Alright, yeah, so we had recently for Nintendo, I think it was like an investors meeting or whatever, where they went over all the numbers and whatnot, which they do, I think, quarterly, and some really good information there, but I want to focus on specifically the Switch numbers, the Switch sales numbers, and I think it was like 129 point something million, basically 130 million units sold at this point, which is fantabulous, fantastic. I'm very happy for it. I just want to mention the fact again that way back in 2017, I said that this system would outsell the Wii. I wasn't sure that it would do it this well, but I had an idea of it because the Switch, also being a portable, would really lend well to, you know, the ability to sell well, because just taking your games on the go is a big factor. Being able to take console games on the go was a huge factor. So I kind of weighed that all in, and I was like, yep, this is probably what's going to happen. I felt it was definitely going to outsell the Wii. It did so. That was nearly 30 million consoles ago, and but like I was saying, I need it, or I guess I don't need it, but I would really like it to defeat the PlayStation 2. The PlayStation 2 is currently sitting at 155 million units sold, roughly, you know, give or take a few here and there. I really like the PlayStation 2. It wasn't my favorite console at gen. That would definitely be the GameCube. I didn't like the PlayStation 2 as much as I liked the PS1, but there's some really good games on here. But when you factor in, like, you know, multiplats and whatnot like that, I tend to get my multiplats elsewhere. If I could, I got them on the original Xbox or on the GameCube when that was a possibility. Usually the GameCube was where it started, and then, you know, subsequently Xbox or PS3 or PS2. So yeah, like that is what's, you know, what happened with the PlayStation 2. It sold 155 million units, like I said. I think it was around 100 or so, maybe a little bit over, around 2006 when Sony had their press conference, which was the E3 press conference that was setting up the PS3. And they mentioned it during, I think it was Kazurai, mentioned it, that it was about 100 million or so, and they had over 100 games still in development for the PS2 at that time, and they were continuing and expecting to continue to sell the console. So that means, I think it discontinued around 2010, so that means it sold about 55 million or so from 2006 to 2010, and that is pretty good. But that was a different time. It took a little bit longer to sell things at that point. But I want the Switch to do better than that for one simple reason. The Switch, for whatever faults it has way more merits than it has faults, is a pure gaming console. Sometimes frustratingly so, but it is a pure gaming console, meaning that this is what you do. That's all you pretty much do on this thing, is play video games. Sure, there's some apps that allow you to do some multimedia stuff, streaming. Still no Netflix. I guess that's not ever going to happen. But I believe Hulu's on here and some other apps. But yeah, this is a pure gaming console for the most part. It's bare bones, sometimes to my disappointment. But at the most part, I don't really use my game console for multimedia stuff anyway. Maybe occasionally when it's convenient. But it's really cool to have still Nintendo producing consoles that are just gaming consoles. And for all of its merits, the one thing about the PS2 that rarely ever gets talked about when people talk about the sales of it is its DVD playback. That may not seem like a big deal today. Obviously, it doesn't. A lot of people don't even care about physical media, especially when it comes to movies and whatnot. People stream a lot, or they have their digital libraries. But back in 2000, that was the big thing. DVDs was the big thing. I talked about before. I got a standalone DVD player for my birthday, I think it was, from my girlfriend at the time, and it cost $539 or something like that. It was a Panasonic. It was really good. Probably a little bit better than what the PS3 was, or PS2. I keep saying PS3. PS2 was able to output, but it was a really good DVD player. But DVD players at the time were expensive. They don't really exist anymore in the market. But at the time, they were really expensive. And so to have a game console come out that offers DVD playback and plays games, current gen or the next gen, if you're talking before when it came out, for $300 was insanity. And so it was a no-brainer. And so a lot of, I make the joke often that a lot of insecure dads convinced their wives that, no, honey, yeah, it's a game console, but we can also have DVD movies, we can justify this purchase by providing, DVD movie playback in our household, and it's really cheap. It's the cheapest DVD player out there. So this is a fiscally responsible thing that I'm doing, buying this PlayStation 2. But seriously, that is something that did happen. A lot of people jumped on the PS2 simply for the DVD playback because it was the cheapest DVD player out there, and it had the bonus of being able to play the next generation of PlayStation as well as the previous generation, because it also played PS1 games. It was smartly backwards compatible. So that was a huge factor in it selling 155 million over its lifetime. Obviously, price drops also helped it. I would say that Switch at some point needs to start doing some price drops. I know there's a lot of people defending the fact that it's still $300 and that's great and they shouldn't lower the price. No, because every console, every product in history lowers its price regardless of, it's selling or not. When it becomes cheaper for them to manufacture, the company will pass that savings on to everyone else. And you can defend a company for being greedy and not doing that, but that's a weird flex. That's a weird defense. But at the end of the day, I really want the Switch to overtake that. I think it will. I think it will overtake it, even if the Switch 2 does come out next year. I don't think that'll make any real difference. So I'm looking forward to, the Switch outselling the PS2 and being the #1 game console, because it is a pure game console. So I don't know how long it's going to take. Hopefully within the next 2-3 years, that'll happen. Again, even if Switch 2 is out, I believe Switch 1 will still be selling, especially if it's backwards compatible. That'll be cool. So that's what my hopes and dreams are. Let me know what you guys think. Do you not care? I mean, at the end of the day, does it really matter? No. But it would be nice to see Nintendo on top in gaming, because I think they're the only pure gaming company still left that produces hardware. PlayStation came in. They were already a multimedia giant. They had electronics. They had movie studios. They had, and that's what kills me sometimes when people compare it to like Microsoft, and they're really upset about Microsoft. But I'll talk about that in another video. But yeah, Sony flexed their muscle to muscle their way into the gaming industry. So, but anyway, that's a different video. Let me know what you guys think about this one. Do you agree that the Switch will outsell the PS2? Is it something you care about at all? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you again for watching and listening, and I'll see you fools next time. Peace out.